Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we finally get to take a look at the all-new 2024 Lexus GX550. This is the Premium Plus. Huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing this SUV for me today. Definitely take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. So this GX550 is finished off in caviar. MSRP is just over $71,000. And this is powered by the 3.4 liter twin turbo V6 that is paired to the 10-speed automatic transmission. And this pumps out 349 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the full-time four-wheel drive system, propelling this 5,500 pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. It tops out just under 110 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 21 gallons. You'll expect to see around 15 miles per gallon in the city, 21 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 112 inches. Its overall length is 197. It has a width of 83, a height of 75.5. Its ground clearance measures in at 8.7 inches. And it also has an approach angle of 26 degrees and a breakover and departure angle of 23 degrees. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this all-new GX550, let's start off with the hourglass design for the grille. That is still retained. However, it's not quite as prominent. There's no actual grille surround, but it has a nice separation from the bodywork with the cutouts there, which are functional, along with the rest of the cutouts, both surrounding the Lexus badge and in that lower section there. Now the Lexus badge is also the sensor for the adaptive cruise. There is a forward-facing camera to help with forward visibility, and if you happen to take this off the pavement, that is definitely a plus to have. Now there's also more cutouts in that lower section of the bumper, and this does have LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals, and then there's also two fog lights in the lower section with some gloss black trim accents and a little bit of gray down in the lower section too. Very small air dam in that lower corner there. And then really nice bulges on both sides of the hood. As you can tell, you will notice those from the driver's seat too, which is a cool angle to see, but it gives it a great look from up front. Now, as we work our way to the side, this Premium Plus has a set of 20-inch wheels with a two-tone design to them. You'll notice too, we have the fender arches, which have some nice contoured edges to them. There's the side mirrors, which are body colored. They have the camera and a turn signal. There's a sunroof up top with the gloss black roof racks, and then all the window trim is blacked out as well. Now this model also has a set of fixed running boards, which also have some brushed accents for the edges there. But as we take a step back, this has a very boxy design to it, mimicking some of the original Land Cruiser models as well as the original GX too. And I think it has a great modern look to it and design, giving it that retro appearance that a lot of Toyota and Lexus owners like to see. And then in back, we have some more crisp lines that go just above those door handles all the way to the back there, just to give it a really nice vibe with the rest of the design. Now in back, this has a body colored spoiler with the integrated third brake light. Wiper blade is in the lower section. This does have LED taillights with that bar that runs right through the middle of that power liftgate. This has a backup camera, there's all the parking sensors, and then with the tow hitch, which this one currently has, it is covered at the moment, so if you don't want to use it, you can put that in place. This can tow right around 8,000 pounds, so a very capable, larger size SUV. And then before we work our way to the power liftgate, you can actually open up the glass individually. There's no button on the key fob, but this is very easy to do. If you have some smaller items, makes it very quick to take those items out or to place them in, and then you can use the button on the key fob or the one up underneath to open up the liftgate, where there's actually two buttons. So the one on the right side there will actually lock the vehicle. Now this is a 3-row SUV with the third row currently up. You'll notice there's not all that much space in the back. There's a little bit underneath if you want to place some smaller items there, but you could put a few smaller items in the back if you needed to. And then of course you have that third row, which is actually very functional. Now it is automatic, so there's buttons on both sides here. You do have to push and hold on that button in order for that seat to go down, and then obviously you can do that on both sides. And with it all the way down, you'll notice there's a lot more storage space. So obviously if you have some bigger items, you can put one or both of them down. So it's nice that they have that split style to them. And then with the push of a button, you can raise them back up. Now up top, you have two buttons on that power liftgate to close the liftgate or to lock the vehicle at the same time. Now, as we take a look at the rear seats now, Door panel is pretty simple, but it has a nice design to it with all of this leather. There's also stitching, some wood trim accents, some storage in that lower section there. And then taking a look at these seats now, they're trimmed with the Nolex leather, very nice design running down them. Well, let's work our way into that third row. So in order to do that, just grab this handle here and you can actually flip the entire seat up with one hand. Very quick process to do that. And you will notice too that you can actually use these controls here to raise and lower those seats. So you can do it from the back, you can do it from here. You can also recline these seats too. So you have that control here to further adjust that. Now you have a spot where you can put that cover in the back. You have an auxiliary, some cup holders there. And at 5'10", I actually have a decent amount of legroom. Now I will say my head is almost touching the headliner here and my knees are pretty upright. So the seats are very low, giving you that added headroom. But honestly, I could cruise around. Maybe not go on a long road trip, but around town, I really wouldn't have any issues. So 2 people could fit back here very nicely. So it's functional for full-size adults. And then obviously when you need that additional cargo space, you can have them down. Not all that hard to get out. And then we can quickly flip the seat up with one hand. And then we have the running board and this grab handle in all 4 corners to make it easy to enter this vehicle. Now in the middle, this does have heated seats and we have all of the climate adjustments. So you have your temperature, where you'd like the air to go, and then some auxiliaries down below. And at my height again, I have about a ½ inch or so above my head with this seat all the way up. So if I grab this lever and fully recline, now I have much more headroom, of course, and a very comfortable position. So you can adjust those just depending on how you want to sit for the day. Now right in the middle, there's the armrest along with 2 cup holders if you need to use those. And as far as all the glass goes for visibility, you'll notice very large windows, especially for the third row there. So it's not claustrophobic feeling, but we have a lot of glass to make this a very open feeling interior. Now the front door panel is just like the rear. However, there's your side mirror adjustments, which are power folding, all of your window controls, and then even more storage in that lower section. And then we have the power operated front seats with a very similar design to them, and then GX and Lexus down on the floor mat there. And once we hop in, we're greeted with the solid leather steering wheel. This also has paddle shifters as well. We have these sensors there to make sure you are paying attention. And then for the rest of the controls, let's start this up. On this left side, you will notice that there's Bluetooth as well as your voice commands and volume too. And then we have some controls up there to go through the gauge cluster here. So currently, you'll notice the setup right here that we have driver information on that right side. There's the map in the middle with your miles per hour, what gear you're in. And then the left side, there's eco as well as some additional vitals. I can scroll over now to page number 3, where the audio's on that left side. You have a compass on the right side. And then you can also go into 1 here where you have a little bit different info. And then you can also hold down on the OK button, and now you can actually customize what you would like to see both in the middle as well as on the left side and the right side. So if I go over to the right side, now I can pull up those shortcuts, and then if I go all the way over to the left side, I can pull up those shortcuts. So you have 3 individual screens that are all customizable depending on how you'd like to set them up. Now on this right side, there's all of your cruise and adaptive cruise control settings along with mode and tuning for your audio. And this also has a head-up display. So currently it is showing miles per hour, your gear, and then the adaptive cruise and the steering assist or the lane keeping assist, which you can control over on that right side. Now on the left side, you'll notice there's the power liftgate. There's also an outlet in the back that you can send power to. We do have the parking sensor control that you can turn on and off, all of your memory seating adjustments, and then your odometer and some controls there. There's also the split design for the air vent. And then as we work our way to the large infotainment system, on this left side, this is all fixed information. So you can quickly get into your navigation, you can pull up your music, get into your phone. If you go into your vehicle, you can go into the driving assistance and pull up all of the standard safety features. Depending on what you would like to see, you can quickly go through that. You have your trip information, even off-road information too. So you can look at your braking, your accelerating, what gear you are in as far as the 4-wheel drive system goes. You have pitch and roll too. Really neat to see that. Tire pressure, vehicle alerts, and then you have some general settings that you can go through just depending on how you want to set up all of that information. Now, still within the screen, you have all of your climate adjustments, so you can click on that. This also has heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. You have where you would like the air to go just by clicking on that diagram there. Your fan speed is down below along with auto and recirc. And then when you do have the system on, you have your temperature dials on both sides, so you can quickly adjust those. Now there's power for your audio right in the middle along with volume. You have your front defroster and then your rear and your side mirrors. There's 2 air vents in the middle along with the hazards. And then underneath that, there's some auxiliaries over on this right side that you can use and hide away there. On the left side, we have the mode select. So when you go through that, you will notice that the diagram will change for the gauge cluster for the 3 different driving modes. So there's sport, there's also normal, and then eco is the last mode. And then underneath that, there's also another control for the drive modes. You have your electronically controlled transmission with a second there. So it looks like you will actually start from second gear. And then you also have traction control and a tow haul mode. And then let's put this into reverse, where we have that backup camera, top-down view on that left side. And then you can also go through a few different angles there, and you can even adjust the guidelines too. Now, in order to put the forward-facing camera on, I believe you have to be in 4-wheel drive for that to activate. There's no actual camera button to be able to pull that up. But we do have drive, and then we have the manual setting too, and those paddle shifters that you can use as needed. Now to the left, there's the e-brake along with the auto hold. There's a center locking differential, and then you also have L4, so you can use that as needed. Now there's 2 cup holders on this right side here, which you can actually hide. So you can just pull that all the way down or open that up, of course. Wireless charging is just behind that. And then you have a good bit of space in the center armrest, as well as in the glove box too. And there's even a small storage bin just above that for some additional items. Now there's the rear view mirror with your garage door buttons up top. And then we have the dome lights as well as the controls for that sunroof. Sunshade is manual adjusting, and then you have the sunroof controls, of course. And here's a look at visibility from the driver's seat. It's pretty boxy and squared off with very large windows over both sides, so it is very easy to see. So now that we are finally behind the wheel for the 2024 Lexus GX550, this has been a vehicle that I know has been very well anticipated with Toyota and Lexus enthusiasts. For the 3rd generation, we finally have a refresh, actually a brand new update and redesign for the GX series. Now this was first introduced in 2002, and the 2nd generation actually went about 12 or 13 years before we now have this 3rd generation here. And I think it looks really cool. And aside from that, now that we're driving it, this is a really cool feeling SUV. Now this is geared towards being a mid to full size luxury SUV. So it's kind of in the middle between being a little too small and not quite big enough. But it handled that turn very well. And I like how upright you feel in this SUV. With kind of how boxy it is, the windshield has a very steep rake to it. So you can see a lot of that hood, which is also going to be beneficial taking this off-road. It doesn't seem like it's that wide. So for people who want to do overlanding, you might not be doing hardcore off-roading, but you might be overlanding, putting on rooftop tents, something like that. A lot of Toyota and Lexus owners like to do camping trips or adventures like that. This is going to be something that seems to be small enough to be able to handle tight situations like that. It's so easy to drive, and it feels like it should, being a Lexus, being well refined, having a pretty smooth suspension to it. It's absorbing all these bumps very well, and it's also very quiet. This would absolutely make for a great daily driver, and honestly, I feel really good behind the wheel. This thing feels so cool. The seats are also very comfortable too. I will say, as far as visibility goes with maneuverability, things like that, I have the headrest up for that 3rd row directly behind me, and if both of them were up, you're going to have a little bit of trouble seeing through. I wish it had the 360 camera or the digital camera in the rear view mirror, so that way if you had 3rd row passengers, you don't have to worry about those rear facing blind spots. So something minor, maybe that'll come. Maybe that's an option that I'm just not seeing it for this model. But let's slow it down now. Let's put it into sport mode. and we can use these paddle shifters here. And from second gear, let's give it some gas. Not all that bad. Paddles seem pretty responsive. That was just a minor acceleration. And as far as its handling goes, you know, this isn't a 0 to 60 vehicle. It's not something you're taking around turns quickly, but it handled that well. And from second gear, here we go. Sounds pretty good too, but that was a nice mild acceleration up to speed. Twin turbo V6 has a good exhaust note to it, but at the same time too, this is a luxury SUV, so it's not something to be crazy loud, but you can hear it under a mild acceleration there. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel now for the all-new GX550. Hopefully you can tell from this angle just how steep that windshield is, as well as how thin these pillars are here. So it's very easy to see forwards, at least. You can even see in between the pillar and that side mirror there. And then just as I've shown earlier with the different angles, with the amount of glass that this has, it's definitely easy to see over, minus the headrests when they're up in the back. But this has been driving so smooth. I have a few miles on it, and honestly, I don't have any complaints. There's a coyote, wow. I don't have any complaints with this. It feels very smooth. It's what you'd expect for this luxury vehicle. Seats are in a good spot too. You can definitely get nice and comfortable. And I feel like for this 24-year model, it has a lot of nice standard safety features, a lot of creature comforts that would make this a great daily driver. It's not overboard in the amount of technology either. We have that forward-facing camera too, which is very helpful. But it's a nice modern update without a million different things to go through. So tech-wise, I think it's spot on with not having too much and not having not enough, of course. Now, I will also be making a buyer's guide for the GX550. So if you'd like to see more history about this entire vehicle from its first generation and introduction all the way to the third gen that we are in right now, take a look at that separate video if you want to learn more about this vehicle in general. But definitely a cool new vehicle, and I can see why this is going to be appealing. It's already a very popular vehicle, especially at the dealer I'm at. So many people are coming in to take a look at this, so it's awesome that I got a chance to check this out for just a little bit. But this is a very, very popular Lexus SUV. I'm surprised at the popularity in person, but I can see why. This is a great size, and it would be fun to daily drive. But that is going to wrap it up for the all-new 2024 Lexus GX550 Premium Plus. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for letting me take a look at this all-new luxury-focused SUV. Check out their website. Also give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.